The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids. Once in a far-away land stood a small stone cottage. The cottage was owned by an old mother goat, and the mother goat lived happily in the cottage with her 7 very precious little kids. "Dear children, the cupboards are bare," said the mother goat. "I must go out immediately to run some errands." "Oh, okay, Mummy," chanted the 7 little kids. "While I'm gone," said the mother goat, "you must be on guard at all times. I have seen a beastly wolf lurking nearby, and if you let him in, he is sure to gobble up the lot of you." All 7 of the little kids looked extremely frightened. "You will be fine, my darling," said the mother goat. "The wolf may try to trick you with a disguise, but don't be fooled. You will know it is him straight away by his deep gruff voice and big hairy feet." The 7 little kids seemed comforted by this and said, "Thank you, Mommy. We will be on guard, and please don't worry. We won't be fooled by the wolf's disguise." Mother Goat gave each of the 7 little kids a late goodbye, and then left to run her errands. 30 minutes passed, and there came a knock at the door. "Dear children, I am home," said the voice. "I've returned with a special treat for each of you to enjoy." The smallest little kid turned to the others and whispered, "That isn't Mummy's voice. It is much too deep. This must be the wolf." "We will not open the door," they cried. "You have a deep gruff voice and Mummy has a soft tender voice. You are the beastly wolf. Be gone, be gone." It fell silent. The wolf had gone, but he had not gone far. In fact, the wolf has dashed off to the local shop and brought himself a large lump of chalk. I know what you are thinking. How bizarre. Well, yes, if you see. The wolf swallowed a lump of chalk which made his voice soft and tender, just like the voice of Mother Goat. The wolf then returned to the cottage, knocked on the door and said again, "Dear children, I'm home. I've returned with a special treat for each of you to enjoy." This time the wolf sounded just like the Mother Goat. "Mummy is back," shouted the smallest kid. "Wait," cried another. "Look under the door. Those feet are much too big and hairy to be Mummy's feet. This must be the wolf." "We will not open the door," they bleated. "You have horrible hairy wolf's feet, and Mummy has lovely goat's feet. You are the beastly wolf. Be gone, be gone." It fell silent again. This time, the wolf had gone to find a baker. But why on earth would the wolf want a baker? Well, you see, the wolf told the baker that he had sore feet and asked the baker to wrap his paws in dough. The baker, who found this a very strange request, but didn't want to cause any trouble, happily obliged. The wolf, whose feet were now white and sticky from the dough, went to find the woodman. You can imagine the woodman's surprise when a sticky-footed wolf turned up and asked politely, "Please, may I have a bag of wood shavings?" The miller, again not wanting to cause a scene, agreed. The wolf took the bag of wood shavings and poured them into a neat mound on the ground. He then drank each of his sticky dough feet into the shavings to make them look just like the feet of Mother Goat. Without delay, the wolf hurried back to the cottage. He knocked on the door as before and said, "Dear children, I'm home. I've returned with a special treat for each of you to enjoy." The 7 little kids looked at each other. "It sounds like Mummy." Yes, it does, said another, peering under the door. And the feet are white like Mummy's too. It must be Mummy, they all cried to open the door. Well, this, I can tell you, was a mistake. The wolf pounced through the front door and chaos ensued. The 7 terrified children scattered in an attempt to get away from the wolf. One hid under a chair. The second climbed into a bed. The third jumped into the oven. Number 4, 5, and 6 all jammed themselves like sardines into the cupboard, and 7th climbed inside the large grandfather's clock. Alas, the wolf sniffed each of them out one by one, and in a giant bite gobbled each of them up. The only kid to survive was number 7, who hid ever so silently inside the grandfather's clock. As a result, was never found by the wolf. The wolf now was an exceedingly full belly, waddled into the nearby forest, and fell fast asleep next to an old tree stump. Mother Goat arrived home shortly after. What an awful sight met her eyes! A broken table and smashed chairs, scattered dishes lying everywhere, her carefully hand-sewn bed spread strewn across the floor, and ripped pillows spilled great clumps of feather, and not a single kid in sight. As she wept, there came a cry within the grandfather's clock. "Mummy, Mummy!" shouted the 7th little kid. Mother Goat ran over to the clock and opened the door and said, "Oh, my children, my precious child, what has happened, and where are all your brothers and sisters?" "The beastly wolf, Mummy. He ate them up." Mother Goat let out a blood-curdling yell. Then the room fell silent. Mother Goat started to pace up and down the room, and a few moments passed, and then she spoke. "We must find that stretched wolf. And look, dear, here are his footprints on the ground. We shall follow these until we find the beast." Mother Goat and the little kid followed the wolf's track until they reached the opening in the forest where the wolf lay sleeping. Mother Goat peered at the wolf's stomach closely. It was moving. Something was wriggling and struggling inside the wolf's big, bulging belly. "Could it be," she thought, "that my children are still alive in there?" "Quick, quick, my dear," she said to the little kid, "run home and fetch me a pair of scissors and my sewing kit." The little kid dashed home and returned, quick as a flash. The next part of the story really is quite gruesome, so I hope you are sitting comfortably. Mother Goat took the scissors, pierced the wolf's stomach, and began to snip. No sooner had she made the first cut when the little kid popped her head out, looked at Mother Goat, and said, "Hello, Mummy." The little kid jumped out, closely followed by her 5 brothers and sisters. But how? How could the kids still be alive? Well, you see, the wolf was such a greedy guts that he had swallowed each of the kid whole without chewing one single time. So the kid was completely unharmed. No scratches, no teeth marks, nothing. The 7 kids and the mummy all huddled into a warm embrace, so happy to be safely reunited. But this was not the end of the story, for the wolf was still asleep, and if he woke to an empty belly, he would know what had happened. So Mother Goat came up with a plan. "Darling children," said Mother Goat to her 7 little kids, "you must now forage for large stones and bring them back to me as quickly as you can." They did just that. A very large stone now lay on the ground next to the wolf. Mother Goat then placed the large stone one by one into the wolf's belly and stood up the opening very tightly with her needles and thread. Several hours passed and the wolf awoke. "Oh my," said the wolf, "I have a terrible thirst. I must go to the well straight away and get some water to drink." As the wolf waddled to the well, the stone began to clunk and rattle in his stomach. I ate 6 large kids and all their bones, but now it feels like I swallowed big stones. The wolf arrived at the well. He bent over to get a pail of water, but the weight of the heavy stones in his stomach was too much. The wolf overbalanced, toppled into the well, and was never seen again.